Welcome back, Hornets. In this lesson, this is a continuation of 5.1, but to specifically address the graphing of the equation that we had created here from number 4. So we're going to look at graphing our equation that we had created in the previous lesson. So if you remember correctly, the equation that we got from this previous problem with that growth percent of 4% per year and $100 initially deposited in the bank, that we had the $100 as our initial deposit, and then our growth factor, we again figured out that 4%, this was grows by 4%, that we changed that percent to a decimal, and that was 0.04, but then added it to 1, so that was our growth factor here. And then again the x value up here, the exponent, is the number of years. So our question was, how much money do you have in 15 years? What we want to do is we want to graph this equation. And again, we calculated this earlier. We're putting 15 in for x and got our dollar amount. But what we want to do is we want to be able to graph this equation on our calculator, change the window so we can look at it appropriately, and then use the trace feature on the calculator to find out how long it takes to have at least $200. So we're going to give that a try. And we're going to get out our calculator, and we're going to go and graph our equation that we had just created. So in that equation, we'll type in our problem. Again, was $100 was the initial deposit, and then the growth rate was 1.04, and then we're going to raise that to the x power. And we can enter that in, and look at that, we don't see anything. So what? There must be something wrong with the calculator, right? Well, no, it's just the Windows settings. And again, if we remember that we're starting with $100, that's our starting point. You can see the graph here only goes up to 6.67, so we got to at least raise that up to 100. We're also interested in when it's going to go up to 200, so we have to even go up higher than that to 200 on our y-axis. So let's go to our menu. Let's go to our window, and let's go to our window settings. And we'll, again, with the x-axis, negative was negative time, so we can't go back in time with getting interest, so we're going to put that at 0. And for right now, let's just put that at 10 years. Maybe we can push that up a little bit. Maybe let's go to 25 years, just to give it a little bit of padding. And again, at x scale, if I was going from 0 to 25, counting by ones is not a big problem. The y minimum, again, we're interested at starting at 100. We're going to go up to 200, so give a little padding on each side. So maybe what I'm going to do is go start at 0, go to 300, and then counting from 0 to 300, counting by ones take a long time. So maybe what I'll do here is we'll count by let's go by tens. Okay, and then now we got a little better look at the graph. Here's our equation, and right down here again is our starting value of 100. 200 is going to be right in here somewhere because there's 300. So we're basically looking at when that 200 mark crosses the line right here. And what we could actually do is we could actually enter in another equation. So we're going tab, and we could enter in that y equals 200 and then find out where those cross. So I'm going to go 200. And this is the point right in there that we're looking at on what value, when will my value of my $100 be at $200, gaining 4% interest. So I need to look for that intersection point. Well, menu, analyze the graph. Hey, look at that. There is an intersection point. Now it asks me to go a little bit lower than what that point is, so I'm going to go a little bit to the left, and then I'll end up clicking that button right there, and then just push on the trackpad just to the right until it crosses that spot, and then I can click, and there is that value. I can see there's the value of the account at $200. This is the number right there. That'll tell me how many years it will take for me to get to $200. So it'll be, what, 17.7 years. So looking back at our problem, graph the equation, change the window, which we did, and use the graph trace command to figure out how many years it takes you to have at least $200. Rather than using the graph trace command, I chose to use the intersection menu on the calculator. I think that gives a little bit more precise answer. So again, it would take 17.7 years to get to $200, to have at least $200. Thank you, and hopefully this was helpful.